Today, I'm going to show you how to make these amazing, delicious blueberry Mill-Oat muffins. When I used to travel, these were always a staple in my carry-on because they're so hearty, because most muffins, think about it, are just oil and flour and sugar. This is made from actual food like bananas and blueberries and sweet potatoes. So we're going to start with our bananas. When you're using bananas as a sweetener, try to get them as ripe as you can. Let them get those nice brown spots on them. I'm just going to mash them with a potato masher. Now, I like to keep bananas in my freezer so that I always have them. Think about this, though. When you freeze them and defrost them, they're going to be a little bit more liquidy. So you sometimes have to add a little bit more oats to get them to be just the right texture. These are bananas that have not been frozen. You can see I easily mash into a puree. And then I'm going to add my cooked roasted sweet potatoes. Here I'm using the Hana yam. When I have the Japanese, I use those. You could use the orange ones, but I don't know. They're just not sweet enough for me. I like them in more savory recipes. But for desserts, I really like using the white sweet potatoes, which are often known as the Hana yam, the Jersey sweet potato, the white sweet potato, the batata. If you have trouble finding them, consider shopping in an ethnic market because they often have a wider variety of things like sweet potatoes. And speaking of variety, there's about 400 types of sweet potatoes, believe it or not. So now I've got my banana and my sweet potato mashed up. And then I'm going to add my dry ingredients. I have my oats. These are rolled oats. They happen to be gluten-free. And then I have a little bit of millet that I ground into a flour. And the reason I do that is because when you're baking with oats, I don't tend to grind things into a flour. Maybe a little bit gummy. So by having just a little bit of millet ground into a flour, it ends up being like 2 teaspoons per muffin. Just helps mitigate the texture. But if you didn't have millet, you didn't want to use it, you could just put in an equal amount of oats. And then my wonderful spices. I've got cinnamon. I prefer to use the cassia. It tastes so sweet, like there's sugar in it. Pure vanilla bean powder, a must in all dessert recipes, in my opinion. Nutmeg, just a little bit of cardamom. With cardamom, you never want to use a lot because it's a very powerful spice. And then we just mix everything together till it's fully incorporated. So these are not light, fluffy, croissant-like muffins. These are thick, hearty muffins that could actually be a meal because they're made out of food. Now I'm going to use blueberries because I love them. I tend to like the small wild blueberries better because then you get more per bite, but you could use the larger ones. I'm using the frozen ones, the wild blueberries that have been defrosted. They can make these a little bit purple in color. If you did not want that, then don't use frozen. But the frozen ones will make them purple. But since purple is my favorite color, I'm okay with that. So we're just going to mix these all together. My oven is preheating right now at 360 degrees. And then I'm going to bake these in a silicone muffin pan. These are wonderful because everything I do is oil-free. When you use silicone, you don't have to grease the pan. You don't have to waste parchment paper and line it. They are fabulous because everything just pops right out as long as you let it cool. Aren't these pretty? There we go. And then I'll take my little ice cream scoop so I can make them as even as possible. Now, there's no baking powder or baking soda in these, so they're not going to rise. Looks like I'll have enough to make a few more muffins. Luckily, I have another muffin pan. Or if you want, you could just stuff these even higher. Okay, keep them like this. What I like to do is just kind of plop it on the counter to see how I can get these even and fill any one that's not completely full so that they'll bake evenly. And then I'm going to pop these in the oven, and then after they cool, I'll show you what they look like. So I took these out of the oven and I let them cool because that's the secret of having them release easily from silicone. Look at this. You can just, boom, pop it out now. They're still warm. Nothing sticks. These are so hearty. These could be a breakfast replacement. It's got your oats, bananas, blueberries. Oh, delicious. And you can see this will be very, very easy to clean. So much easier to clean up when you don't use oil. See, it's barely dirty at all. And you have your beautiful blueberry Mill-Oat muffins. These freeze really, really well.